Co-Chairman Anderson, your meeting is live on YouTube.
We'll call the Senate Appropriations Committee to order Wednesday, February 20. We'll call this Senate Appropriations Committee meeting to order Wednesday, February 28th. And we're going to hear two bills today. First one is Outdoor Recreation and Tourism Trust Fund Administration, House Bill 67. Is there anyone here that would like to present this? There are. Oh, there is.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Yeah, excuse me, just a minute. I need to do roll call.
Okay.
We need to find out if we're here or not. Linda, could you do roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Senator Carew.
Here.
Senator Nethercott.
Here.
And Co-Chairman Anderson.
Here. We have a quorum? All right, we have a quorum, so go ahead, Representative Newsom.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. My name is Sandy Newsom. I represent House District 24 in Cody. And so this House Bill 67 is the Outdoor Recreation Trust Fund Administration 2. And what this does, last year with House Bill 74, we created the trust fund and the funding for the trust fund was created. So at this point, we have an orphan trust fund. We have a trust fund with money in it and that's created that we can't get money out. And that's what this bill does. It sets up the governance structure, it sets up the administration, it sets up the trust fund income account so we can put the earnings from the trust fund corpus into the income account. And then it establishes a 9-member committee, which will be very similar to the Wyoming Wildlife Natural Resources Trust Fund. We use that governance structure as a model for the governance structure of this board. So 9 members from judicial districts, and that they are involved in recreation and tourism, wildlife, people with wildlife concerns, as well as motorized, non-motorized advocates. So I can walk you through the bill, or we can get down to the meat of why we're here today, at your pleasure. Okay, so on where's my thing? On line 16, I'm on page 16, line 15. I don't have the engrossed version, but I'm sure it's very near there. There is an appropriation of $50,000 to stand up the board, and that would be taken from the trust fund itself. Originally, we had it coming from the general fund, but in the House, we amended out that general fund language and have it coming from the trust fund itself. So that's what brings us to you today. Any questions?
Questions, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, so did I hear that right? That there's no money associated with this bill except for the $50,000 that you called out on page 16?
Vice Chairman Anderson,
Yes.
Senator Guru, that's correct. The $6 million that's coming from the tourism account, this tourism special account, is appropriated into the trust fund already. There's $6 million in there already. In this next biennium, another $6 million will go in. And what we needed to do is to be able to get it out. And also in this bill, the way it's written, there would be $4 million go into the corpus of the trust fund and $2 million go into the income account so that we can get some money on the ground, so that we can fund some of these projects.
And what's the source of that 6 million? That's
Vice Chairman Anderson, it is the tourism reserve account. So as you'll recall, with the lodging tax, 80% of that money goes into the regular tourism account, spent on advertising and that sort of thing. 20% of that money goes into the special project and reserve account. And that's where this money will come from, because these are definitely special projects. And this is why that was set up in the first place, so that there would be this pool of money for these special projects that would not detract from what the tourism budget is doing as far as their advertising campaigns and that sort of thing.
And was there a maximum or a minimum amount set up in that tourism account before you could pull anything out? Did it have to be 6 million before you could take anything out, or?
No, there was none of that. And the board, once it's set up, can adjust how much goes into the corpus and how much goes into the income account. Hopefully, just like the Wildlife Natural Resources Trust Fund, in the future, our goal is to have 200 million, just like them. That'll take years and years and years, decades. But right now, we'll have, in this next biennium, we'll have 10 million in the trust, in the corpus, 2 million in the income account, so that we can spend 2 million, get money on the ground, get some projects funded, show the public that this is a good process, and that we can do some projects.
And this is statewide, this isn't just Cody or anything like that, this is statewide.
Vice Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman, yes, it is statewide, and if you look at, I don't know it can be used for a variety of things. It can be used for shooting ranges, it can be used for equestrian things, it can be used for planning, it can be used for maintenance. So if you have a trail that just needs some maintenance, you can apply for these funds and get some maintenance money. So it's very broad in what is allowed uses. So I think that it is a whole gamut of things that we can use. Some of the suggestions from my part of the world is we have a very nice equestrian trail, but the corrals are deteriorating. So with this money, if they would apply and get funded, they could replace those corrals. They could do, somebody mentioned an archery range in one of the communities that they're just starting a walking archery range, and these funds could be used to fund that. And then there are, if somebody wanted to build new trails, but new trail building is about $1 million a mile. So, I mean, it's expensive. The other thing that we want is not for this fund to take on the whole project. We would like matching funds, and that will probably, if you have matching funds, you go up further in the list of projects that will be funded, because we want local communities to have some skin in the game. We're not gonna just swoop in and throw money at people. They have to provide viable projects that they have some financial stake in, as well as maybe some cooperating stake, some sweat equity. So.
Okay, any other questions for the presenter? Other questions? Senator Nethercott.
Mr. Chairman, I see that we have the Madam Chairman of the Travel Committee from the Senate side here, Senator Schuler, who I think is likely in support of this bill as well, who is a co-sponsor. She gave a thumbs up. Was this heard by the Travel Committee first, and this is a re-referral? So we're just looking at that appropriation?
Yes.
Right.
From the trust fund account?
So-
Yeah, seems pretty
Mr.
simple
Vice
to me,
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator, that would be correct.
Right?
This might be simple to you. Anything else for Representative Newsom?
I believe you can manage it.
All right, anything from the other attendees?
Good afternoon, Mr. Vice Chairman, Dave Glenn, Director of Wyoming State Parks and Cultural Resources. The one thing I'd like to reiterate that Chairwoman Newsom, I apologize, said is that the $50,000 is not coming out of the general fund. It is actually coming out of that $6 million or the interest off that $6 million. So no general fund dollars are being spent on this. We worked very closely with Travel, Recreation, Wildlife, Cultural Resources Committee with this. Director Budd, who is in the back of the room. We've worked with hunting and angling groups, motorized groups, non-motorized groups, industry, to really work with TRW to fine tune this bill. And with that, I would just stand for questions.
Any questions for the director? Hearing none, thank you. And A2, sir.
Yeah, that's my line.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Anderson. Patrick Harrington, Manager of the Wyoming Office of Outdoor Recreation. I'll put a point on two quick things and then I'll get out of the way. I just want to explain, projects will be developed in a grassroots method using 8 collaboratives we have out across the state. So these groups convene every other month, dream up projects together, work through the real pain points, whether, if it's a motorized, non-motorized conflict, they can come together and realize a shared goal. And so it really transparent, really from the ground up, and then that transparency is just the next thing. These all of the board's meetings created in this legislation are public meetings, also heard in the Select Natural Resource Funding Committee, and then would report to this group, Joint Appropriations, Joint TRW, and the governor's office on an annual basis. So I just wanted to provide that it is a transparent process, and that it is projects developed from the grassroots up. And with that, I'd stand for any questions.
Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for being with us
Mr. Vice
today.
Chairman, can I just add one thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Please,
Okay.
any of the projects that are over $200,000 would come through the legislature, just like any of those large projects. So there's a large project in the bill. It talks about large projects and how those would have to be approved through the legislature.
Okay, thank you.
Are you sure you want that? Seems like a bad idea. Should we amend that already?
Any other speakers on House Bill 67? Oh, they're coming out of the woodwork.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Jeremiah Riemann here on behalf of the Wyoming County Commissioners Association. We do have a couple of commissioners here. Commissioner Lloyd Teal to my right from Park County. We have a former Fremont County Commissioner here, and Steph Kessler. And then to my immediate left is a Fremont County Commissioner today, Mike Jones. And so I'm going to turn it over to him and let him give our perspective, but we're enthusiastically supportive of this.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ryman.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of points on this. Our support for this bill, it really does provide an equitable and transparent process throughout the state. It puts the bones in place that really make this thing work. Over the previous 4 or 5 years, the collaboratives that have been formed in many communities throughout the state are in place to field these types of things and to establish priorities within their communities, and then ask for these funds, and then it'll go through a rigorous review process. I think the fact that we followed the Wildlife Trust process based on what we did in this state that already works, and certainly Director Budd has been very influential in helping us build that. So there's so many good things, and just a few of the projects that I know in my own community in Riverton and in Lander. We have a number of projects. We have the Riverton Pathways Trail. We've got the bus that we're working on. We've got Squaw Baldwin. Our local commission allocated $1 million out of LATC funds to look at these roads because they've changed the nature over the last 20 years of bicyclists hitting our community, and that's a much bigger part. So safety has become a big issue, and that's one of the things that commissioners do, and yet it ties into the outdoor rec. And because we see that as a very viable path to economic development. We have a simple definition in Fremont County about economic development. It's basically add jobs, retains jobs, or brings in outside dollars. And this is a lot about bringing in outside dollars to our communities throughout the state. And with that, I'll finish and stand for questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions for the commissioner? Any questions? Any questions? Thank you. Anyone else to come before the committee?
Hello, Mr. Vice Chairman and committee members. My name is Steph Kessler, and I am here representing the Wyoming Outdoor Recreation Business Alliance. We are a brand-new group that's just started up last month, but I can say we represent over 40 members and well over 1,000 employees already in the outdoor rec field in the state. We are here to support this bill because we understand that investments in outdoor recreation infrastructure helps lift all our boats in businesses in Wyoming. We know that it attracts people that will then spend money in our businesses, but I also want to emphasize that it's these types of community amenities that bring new manufacturing companies to our state, and it's what firearm companies and other companies that are looking for a good alliance in terms of an outdoor culture. They know that their employees will want to live here and recreate and raise their families here as well. So these investments really help our economic sector in many ways, and that's why we support this bill.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Kessler? Any questions? Any questions? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for joining us today. Hey,
Hello, long time no see.
Yeah.
Mr. Vice Chairman. I wasn't going to say much more because I think everyone did a great job presenting. But again, this bill, this administration of this bill was really one of our priorities for the joint TRW. And I'm not real sure that everyone, first time down the pike in the Senate, really understood what we were doing with it. And so really tickled pink that Representative Newsom had a mirror bill so that we could maybe get a little more light on the subject. And having people understand that this is just the administrative part of this. Everything's already been set up. I think she did a great job of, and also our agency folks of making sure that we've got all the, Ts crossed and Is dotted. But the big thing, I think, for you and everyone else to know is that when we had the ARPA funds added in a few years ago, I think they had something like 6 projects out of 70 proposals was all that they could possibly get done. We may be in that same boat with this because I think you're going to see proposals probably from every county wanting to come up with some projects that are going to help them with their tourism issues. But the bottom line is, I don't know that I've ever seen a bill that's had as much support from so many grassroots people, from outdoor groups, hunting groups, sportsman groups, county commissioners, young people that came in the other day from Cody. I hope they got a hold of all of you and squeezed your ears on the way by when you went into the Senate. But we've had really a lot of support statewide on this. And so just appreciate your consideration. Thank you. Stand for questions.
Senator, I've located where the 200,000 is on large projects on page 11. It's in the definitions. But do you know where it says that has to go back to the legislature? I'm questioning whether that's a good idea to bring it back to the legislature.
Well, let's see. I think it's on page 15. And I believe that was one of our leadership folks. I think it was the majority floor leader that was wanting some of those kinds of sideboards. And so I think it's probably, if I'm just glancing really quick. Is that
Oh, right there.
Yeah. 15 looks like on page,
15 line.
yeah, page 15, lines 7 through 11. Again, I should have this memorized. We've seen enough of it, but it is a long bill. Yeah, I'm not so sure it's the actual, the correct thing to do either, but, we tried to as much as possible. Like I said, the Wildlife Trust Fund director was so good at helping us set this up, and I know we bumped up theirs a little bit higher than ours, because again, their corpus and their income accounts are a little bit, well, they've got more money, but we can always change that down the road if need be. If you recommend that, and we can amend that somewhere down the line when we've got a little bit more money, I think that's probably not a bad idea.
So you're all right with it right now? That
As it
we leave it in
stands,
there?
yes, Mr. Vice Chairman, I would just like to see this get across the finish
We need
line.
to make sure the majority party is very happy. Okay.
All right.
How about you, Representative? Anything? Yeah, she may want
All we get
to,
is.
since it's her bill and I'm just
Yeah,
tacking
yeah.
on.
Yeah, we can't change it.
Let's round this out.
Yeah.
It's 12:40.
What, are you in a hurry, little miss?
We're gonna go upstairs.
Oh, excuse me.
Thank you,
Go
Mr. Vice
ahead.
Chairman. That is mirror language from the Wildlife Trust Fund, because their amount was increased last year, I think, to 400,000, because they have so much more money. Okay,
We can't change it. We just are voting
Don't
on the
even try.
50,000.
We just like
So
attending.
we were
Oh,
just curious in case we want to do something on the floor.
This has been really fun.
Maybe in the future, when we make lots more money.
Okay.
We will let you use your own $50,000, okay?
All right, anybody else? Anyone else? Any public comment? Any other public comment? I'll close public comment, and House Bill 67, what's your pleasure?
Second.
Moved and seconded. I want to amend it to cut that 50,000 in half.
I think that's good. Power and authority, the JEC.
Well, I guess we won't do that. Okay, let's do the roll call on House Bill 67.
Senator Guru,
Aye.
Senator Nethercott,
Aye.
and Co-Chairman Anderson.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Anderson, House Bill 67 engrossed, passes.
Okay,
Three ayes.
all right, let's move right on to House Bill 75. Thank you, House Bill 67 people. Don't everybody leave, this is more fun than you're gonna have.
Everybody's here.
Jeez, they cleaned the room.
Now, buy popcorn, I've got the concession up there. I put that in the bill before they took it out, yeah.
Need some Kleenex. Usually there's some right there. Holy mackerel. House Bill 75 is coming before the committee, Public Property Amendments. Is there anybody who would like to talk about this? Anyone?
Mr. Chairman, I recall this bill from the interim, and I think it's a wonderful bill, and as soon as our secretary comes back, I would like to move it. I don't think we need to represent it to ourselves.
You gotta present it on the floor? Okay.
It's been moved, and Guru seconded it?
Correct.
Yeah,
We'll wait for
okay.
our secretary.
Why we wait for her?
Because she's,
Why, no, she
went to
did.
get
She
some
went to get some Kleenex. Yeah, she did.
this is why we're the B team.
Thank you. Hey, we're not no B team. We're still bench sitters. Okay, it's been
Grabbing
moved by
some pine here.
Nethercott, seconded by Guru to pass House Bill 75. We've heard from the public, we've heard from the presenter.
We're voting aye.
We're closing public comment. Any comments from the committee?
Good little bill.
Good little bill. Okay, let's hear the,
Senator Guru, Senator Nethercott,
Aye.
and Co-Chairman Anderson.
aye.
Co-Chairman Anderson, House Bill 75 is a due pass with 3 ayes.
I don't think there is a vote.
Yeah, it's,
Well, it's just a bill. It's not a re-referral.
oh, this isn't a re-referral,
No,
this is us.
this is us.
This is a joint appropriations bill, it's the last
Son of
bill.
a-
So who's doing it?
I am.
You are, and who's,
I'm taking the bill.
okay.
Tara is taking the Public Property Amendments Bill, House Bill
I'll do
75.
67.
House Bill 75 is
Oh,
being
no,
taken
Wendy
by
will do it.
Tara.
Wendy will do it.
Tara's doing it.
Tara will take
Okay.
public property.
Who's doing
I
67?
bet Wendy is.
Wendy's got it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Senator Schuler, chairman.
Okay, we're done then. We'll close Senate Appropriation Committee.